Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump's tariff announcement and how a lot of headlines are very, very misleading. Okay, so Trump finally announced the actual numbers on his tariff plan. The headlines are focusing on the across-the-board tariff of 10%. That is not the concern. The additional add-on in tariffs is where the story is. They are steep and are going to cost Americans a lot of money. It's going to put a big dent in the U.S. economy. The 10% top-line number is not even close to the effective tariff that will be slapped on some of our largest trading partners. As an example, China will be looking at a more than 50% effective tariff rate once everything is added in. If you believe the importing companies in the U.S. will just eat these new costs and not pass them on to you, well, you're in for a huge surprise. But hey, don't worry. The billionaires are looking at pretty nice tax cuts for all those new profits they're going to get out of you. Trump waited until the markets closed to make the announcement. But I would expect a very volatile day tomorrow. I'm pulling the numbers a few hours before this goes out. But Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ futures are all down. It's expected that the S&P 500 will fall back down into correction territory. Major brands have been hit hard in after-hours trading, with companies like Apple, Gap, and Five Below taking pretty substantial hits. The extent of the tariffs is beyond anything that was imagined. The markets do not have tariffs of this size priced in. We've talked about how important estimates are to markets. Investors were not expecting this. It changes all math about profitability and potential returns on their investments. Jed Ellerbrook, portfolio manager at Argent Capital, said, quote, "While the market was positioned to bounce on a less bad than expected tariff announcement, there is no way to spin today's news as positive for the economy or stock market. Companies themselves were not expecting these kinds of additional costs that will have to be passed on to us, which will reduce our demand, because the additional costs will make us rethink whether the final price is actually worth it. This is going to apply to everything from inexpensive impulse purchases to big-ticket items like computers and home electronics. Companies will revise the expected profits and will likely lead to some companies ending certain lines of products, which will cause layoffs. The short version here is that you need to ignore the 10% headline. That's not what matters. I've honestly never seen a president be so confident in what is widely being seen as one of the worst unforced errors in U.S. economic history. The U.S. Treasury Secretary issued a statement warning other countries not to respond, saying, quote, "Doing anything rash would be unwise." Statements coming out of other countries suggest they might not heed that advice. In semi-related news, it looks like Mitch McConnell will be coming out in favor of the Senate resolution to block Trump from imposing his tariffs on Canada. It's rumor mill at the time of recording, but it's from a D.C. rumor mill that tends to be correct. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.